Hi, my name's Venus O'Hara and welcome to another video. The other day someone wrote to me and asked me to make a video on who should pay for a first date. So I thought, this is interesting, and here it is. Well, I'm not really into the dating world at the moment. I used to do a lot of online dating, but then when all these apps came out, I just thought, I'm not sure if I want someone knowing how many meters away I am from them. So I've been a bit out of the dating scene in the last few years, but I've had lots of dates in my time and lots of awkward, uncomfortable dates. And the question of paying or not, well, I think dating has changed over the last few years. I think nowadays, well, at least here in Barcelona, a first date can often just be a coffee, so who cares about a coffee? I mean, if someone pays for that or not, it's not such a big deal. But when it comes to a dinner date, I think that can be a bit more complicated because I think I actually wrote an article a few years ago called "Does Dinner Equal Sex?" and I wrote it for El País. And I think there is a misconception still that if someone pays for dinner, they are indirectly paying for sex. And also many women, unfortunately, well, I think it's unfortunate, despite all of the advances in equality, feminism, oh my bloody neighbours, so loud, so loud. Anyway, despite all of these advances, a lot of women still expect the man to foot the bill. And I think this is a massive contradiction, because if we're fighting for equality, then I think 50-50 should be the way. But I think anyone in life should have enough money to pay for what they consume. And if someone wants to actually pay for you when the bill arrives, then I think that's okay as well to accept the invitation. I have accepted many invitations in my time, and I'm sure I will in the future. But I think if someone pays for you, it should really come from the heart and not from below the waist. I think that's really important. But my worst experience with having a dinner date that was paid for happened a few years ago. I think it was about maybe 10 years ago. I met this guy and I didn't fancy him really, but still, I think for me it's not. I don't usually fancy people the first time I meet them, if I'm honest. But I thought he was a nice guy. I met him in person in a bar, and I told him I was vegetarian, and he said, "Oh, I'm vegetarian too." And so he invited me out for dinner, but I gave him my phone number on the day we met, and then he kept phoning me, and I was just very busy with work. I kept saying I kept putting it off really, and then one day I thought, okay, let's go and have dinner this Saturday. So I did, and he was a really nice guy. We went to a really nice restaurant, and I remember showing him something in my phone. I think I was pictures of the art I used to paint years ago, and then he started going through my phone, and I just thought that was so rude. So I grabbed my phone back, and from that moment I just thought, what an idiot, seriously. And I was just dying to get the bill and go home really. But then when the bill arrived, he insisted on paying, even though I tried to pay my half. And then he kept saying that he wanted to actually see my paintings in person because they were at my flat. I don't think he was really into art. But then we went to another bar after, and I wanted to I wanted to pay for the drinks just to say thank you for the dinner. But then when we went to this other bar, he didn't let me pay either. And then when we sat down, we had the drinks, and he started really being quite aggressive and asking me why I was not going to invite him to my place to see the paintings. And I just felt really uncomfortable. And then he said to me, to make it even worse, "You just came out for the free dinner, didn't you?" And I was so in shock. And then I actually got up and left. And I was lucky because I ran away from him and got a taxi and got in the taxi, and the taxi just sped off quite quickly. But it was I was very intimidated, and I thought, what would this situation be like if I had gone back home with him or something? Yeah, so that was it wasn't really a wake-up call, but I just thought, oh my God, I mean, for any future invitations or something, I'm definitely gonna only go out with people I really like, and I'm gonna make sure I pay for my own dinner. Then I remember another time I was going out with a guy who had lots and lots of money, and every time we went somewhere, he would automatically pay, and that's quite a nice feeling, because you can just look at the menu and just choose things and not really think about the cost. And then when the bill arrives, you don't have to worry about anything, because for them it was the same as me paying for coffee, so it was no big deal at all. But I remember one day I actually paid instead of him, and it was just an incredible feeling of power, because I think yeah, I hate that feeling when the bill arrives and you're just there like a little girl and your parents are paying for you. I just think it's not very empowering for me. Yeah, I think I want to have enough money to look at any menu and just say I want this, 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 and I can pay for it and not have to worry. So I think that's the best thing. I think everyone should have enough money to pay for what they consume. And if someone wants to pay for it for you, then may it be from the heart and not from below the waist. But then there are some people who think that if the guy asks you out on the date, then they should pay. And I think that has been quite like that for me in my dating career. But I don't think it should ever be about expecting anything, really, because you don't really know that person. A first date is always about getting to know the other person. So what do you think? Who should pay on the first date? Please leave a comment below. And if you have any ideas for videos, let me know, because this month I'm going to do a 30-day challenge. Yeah! Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video, and see you next time.